Hi, 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 hi. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, like it is said in the topic, uh, I would love to talk about the relationship between the African immigrants and the African immigrants and African American in the United States and the larger diaspora. Because I see a lot of issues with within the community, the global Black community, especially in the United States. We always have Haitians and African American going back and forth. Africans. I was born in West Africa, and I have a TikTok page. I have like close to 13,000 followers on TikTok. And a month ago, this guy commented on one of my videos. He was African American. He didn't know I was born in Africa, so he was like, "Africans don't even like us." And I was taken aback because my page on TikTok is all about Black love, diaspora, Africa, everywhere, Afro Latinos. I love Black people everywhere. So I was really taken aback. I was asking myself, where is that coming from? I try to explain to him, but TikTok comments is limited, so it took me like more than an hour, but he still wasn't understanding it because I was trying to explain to him there's a difference between, the beef that happens between African immigrants in the neighborhoods living around African Americans and what Africans in Africa feel. When people live next to each other, yeah, they're always meant to have some, little misunderstanding, especially urban areas, poor areas. Poor people fight a lot. That's just the nature of things. Because if you look at it, like in most of urban America, you have a lot of fights going on. People, just being violent towards each other. It doesn't necessarily have nothing to do with people hating themselves or hating their brothers, but it just poverty, drugs, crime infested. So what I've noticed in the African community too, there's a lot of stereotyping of African Americans, and I'm against that too. I always speaks against it because, let's say, Africa is 54 countries, so I don't know all the African communities, but in my community, for instance, the Guinean community, Guinean American, and people tend to generalize a lot, the violence, because I don't know if you remember Amadou Diallo, the guy that was shot in New York more than 40 times in 1999. He was from Guinea. He was shot by the cops. But like in the Guinean community, people always talk about beside Amadou Diallo, all the other Guineans that were killed in America have been killed in the hands of other black people. So that kind of, inform the interactions, the people just want to fall back, you know. And from the African American perspective too, this sometimes it's seen that Africans are not really, you know, those who want to join the fight. Those, are kind of, the most extreme people is saying the Africans immigrants are adopting the white supremacist view of the community, which is not true. You might have some few people, but the majority of people really, just most people in the African community vote Democrat, just like most African American. Most people in the African community, are for Black Lives Matter, just like most African American. Most Black people support everything, the African American community stand for. I just feel like there's so much misunderstanding between the two communities that you know a dialogue, an open dialogue is needed, to really sort out a lot of misconceptions. Growing up in Africa, growing up in Africa, we everybody loved America. Everybody loved, especially the African American community. People knew everything about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Even Guinea is a Muslim country. Where people even knew about the Negro spirituals. There's even a hip hop group, a female hip hop group in Guinea called the Negro Spiritual. So African American culture really is love all throughout the black world. That's why I always say, like, whenever something positive starts in Black America, it reverberates toward the whole black world. But whatever something negative, like, girls wanting Birkin bags or twerking starts here, it reverberates too all throughout the black world, whether the Caribbeans or Africa, anywhere. So the black world is really connected. Like, let's take Jamaicans for instance. I grew up in Africa. People just love Bob Marley. Like, when when May 11, I think May 11 or May 15, Bob Marley's, I think his birthday or his death. When they arrive in Guinea, it's like a big holiday. Like, all the youth, all the young people go to beaches. People just acting a fool. Like, everybody acting like they're rastas. People having their back in the 90s, people have their radios, on their shoulder, big radio stereos, like, blasting reggae songs. So there's a lot of black love, but there's also a lot of misunderstanding, in the black community. And I feel like all that is kind of, you know, you have people now, like, online, whether they're Africans or African American, people trying to get niche markets, and they're kind of fueling that division just to get views or whatever. I see people talking about, oh, Africans don't like us, or African Americans don't like Africans, or you see this one African person just saying, "Oh, when I came to America, the only people that were bullying me in school were African Americans." Then, yeah, the kids bully other kids. That happen all the time. But that doesn't mean that your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, is like, don't love you. We have to stop taking little anecdotal experiences, or little misgivings about one person or this one group that I met, and generalize it. Most people love their own. Most Africans love African American, and most African Americans love Africans. Yeah, you do have some Africans that will stereotype and just, adopt what I call a Fox News view of Black America, and you have some African Americans too that adopt, the nightly news or CNN view of Africa, warring, poor, my cousin was telling me once, when he came to New York, he was what, 12, 13, and in school, the black is asking him, if he was living on a tree, in Africa, stuff like that. But that's just interaction between kids. So if you take things like that and just keep it, and just that we can first, that's what I always tell black people. We always forgive other people. Why we don't forgive ourselves? Why we don't forgive each other? I never really understood that. I never really understood that. So, this channel, I will talk about a lot of different things, but I'm really interested in installing a dialogue between different black community, whether it's Afro Latinos, whether it's African Americans, Caribbeans, Africans. Everybody's welcome, because me, I really see the global, the macro. I see everything. I don't have one side. I don't have no side. My side is like black love. You know, I can't even say my side is human love, but I feel like, in, uh, black people are the most segregated in the world. So, black love first, then, human love, because until Black Lives Matter, we have to fight. So why fight among ourselves for petty little things, such as, this person said there about my community, or I'm gonna get mad. I always tell people this joke, but it is really serious when I see, like, um, people coalescing, like Africans against African American, or African American against African. I will be like, oh, you don't know one thing, you African, I'm African, but we're from different tribe. Those two African American, they might from one might from my tribe and the other one might from your tribe if we really do the DNA test to find out. So it's really stupid to be like, you know, using all these nationalities, countries to hate other black people. I don't really be caring about it. I even care about black people in the Arab world, the so-called Afro Arabs, all that. I care about black people everywhere. So for me, my black love got no borders. My black love got no borders. That's why the whole when the Olympics was happening, I see the back and forth between African Americans and Jamaicans and Jamaican Americans sometimes about the sprinting thing, the rivalry, the sprinting rivalry between the two countries. And I see that like a lot of people were taking very nationalistic. I'm like, this is just sports, yeah, it doesn't need to become hatred. Why you guys are waving flags, and just going crazy about this? I don't feel like no black person should be hating the other one because of nationalities, the borders. It happens in Africa too. Even though those African countries, the borders were like set up without Africans having any input in there. It happens there too. You see, like, a Malian and a Guinean fighting, even though, okay, let's say I'm Mandinka, that's my tribe, like Mansa Musa, I'm Mandinka. And most Malians, the majority there are Mandinka, but Guinea and Mali might go back and forth. I'm like, yeah, you are people. This little border is there, but like, this is, my ancestral home. And Mali is, we border each other. So like, you my cousins, you're on the other side just because the white people trace that border. Why you gonna hate me? So when I see Jamaicans and let's say African Americans going at it sometime and it becoming like really heated, like go back to your country, or if Jamaica is so good, why are you here? I always feel like, okay, it was like I heard this guy, it was Laz Alonso, Laz Alonso, I think he's a Cuban American actor, he's Afro Cuban. He was talking about it. And the lady, I think it was Melissa Ford, kept like pressing him about him claiming he's black, but he's Cuban. He tried so hard to explain to these people nationality and ethnicity are two different things. Nationality is about like your country of origin, your passport, but ethnicity, he tried to explain like I'm black, and but I'm also Cuban, I'm also American. All that is compatible, but they wouldn't understand it. And he had to even give them this uh, this concept. He said that we all came from the same boat. My folk just got dry first. I don't know if they understood it, but like, it was he couldn't have put it in a better way, man. In a better way, you know people get so hung up on this nationality things and countries, and even though in those countries you are segregated, but you still willing to wave that flag and just hate another black person because of that flag. Let's say an Afro Brazilian fighting, let's say an African American, the two fighting for their own respective flags, even though you know the the two communities been segregated in the two countries like in forever, you know. So we really have a lot to learn from each other, you know. I hope my channel will be something, an inspiration, an open dialogue. Yeah. I've lived in Africa, I lived in America, and I can give perspective from both sides, but I will also love to learn from different people. But I have friends from the two communities. I talk to a lot of different people. I read a lot, but I'm always saddened by the division. I'm always saddened by the division. And on my TikTok, I always try to push this thing, encouraging black people, African Americans, and the Afro diaspora in general, Caribbeans, to travel to Africa, not only as tourists, but try to invest. You got Chinese, you got Lebanese, you got Indians, you got Europeans going there and making millions. So if you, let's say you're African American, you hear all those people are going there and enriching themselves in mining, in commerce, in agriculture, in industrial, uh, different things, in manufacturing, agriculture, manufacturing. You could do it too if you have, let's say, you have the expertise or you have the money. You could do it. And in on this channel, I don't have everything set up yet, but I'm willing to give advice, give counseling. You know, I don't know the whole Africa, but I know West Africa, especially French speaking West Africa. You know, Guinea. Both my parents were born there. I was born in Senegal, but I never. I'm Guinean. I grew up in Guinea, but I was born in Senegal. My parents, both of them, are full Guinean. And in Guinea, we have a lot of mining. We have agriculture. The mining consists of bauxite, uh, iron ore, gold, diamonds. Agriculture too is big there. Different climates. So you can inquire about it. I'll advise. I always talk about the new Pan Africanism is not just waving flag, the Gavi flag, or wearing kente, or it's about economics too. I always say, like, if African leadership was smart, every public contract would be, if Africans cannot do it, you give it to, let's say, African American or Jamaican. So whoever can do it in the African diaspora, you call them, or yeah, this is African American construction company, you can build this road. Yeah, you come build it instead of giving it to, let's say, Chinese or French or English or whatever. That's how it's supposed to be. But for that, people like me have to be in leadership first in Africa. Because the puppets there, they won't do that. Yeah. So hopefully I'll do my little thing here, promotes black unity, black love, and understanding, dialogue between different black communities. You're gonna I'm gonna grow with you guys. Your input is always welcome. I'm not a professional at this. I'm just starting, but hopefully I'll stay consistent with with the topics, with different live shows, or just posts. Yeah, it's we just have to keep uplifting each other as black people. We should never just give up on each other and be in our little corners. If anybody like have a question for me, you can email me. I'll put my email in the somewhere there. Like, I'm still figuring out this YouTube thing. You can email me, if anybody want to have it, a conversation. If I have time, I can hop on a live show and do a live with anybody that's interested in this kind of topic. If anybody have a channel, small or big or whatever, we can, and the person is genuinely interested in talking about global black issues, we can link up and talk about it. I have It's something that I'm really passionate about. I'm really passionate about it, and like, I feel like anything, if you're passionate about something, you should just go ahead and do it. Yeah, it's been, like kids like to say now, it's been well. It's my first live show. Just I was thinking 30 minutes, but 20 minutes in, I'm not out of topic, but with our interactions, it's a little boring, but I see you probably tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow too. And I don't even know what's going to be the topic for now, but I'll be live tomorrow.